Welcome, everyone. So, we are going to get right to this training this week. And I'm just making sure that everything is working and that we're live. And again, the topic of this week's business training is what it really means to be a CEO in your business. Three things that we're going to be talking about during this training is what that is. The other one is going to be how to make decisions from that state of mind, from that position, and how that helps you to adjust in your business because there's never the perfect thing. There's never the straight line. We're always going to have to be adjusting in business, and if this is something that tugs at you or that rubs at you, then this is a training for you to really come in and listen and take learning nuggets from it and be able to go and apply it in your business. So, with that being said, let me just make sure that I go ahead and make sure that I can see myself, and I do see it. Now, the reason why I am very passionate about this specific topic is because a lot of the times, if you haven't gone to business school or if you haven't been working at an executive level, the way business works can be something very foreign, and it could feel heavy, it could feel difficult. So I believe it is my core belief that if we can understand what being a CEO is and it means, then you can go ahead and really, a lot of the things that are happening in the space or decisions that have to be made won't be as heavy because you're understanding that you just need to make a specific decision to get you closer to the end result, and not necessarily just you, but the business in general. Because, whether you are, just your own person right now in business, or at a scale level with employees, contractors, clients, it's a bigger vision. So the faster we can understand what being a CEO means, then and how to view things from that lens is just going to make everything else different, right? A lot of the times my clients come to me and they want to know what I would do, what decision I would do. And I'm not a CEO of their business by no means. I'm the CEO of my business, and I decide what things work best for my company, for my vision, for the values, for the goals that we have based on, right, what we want for the business. So it's going to look very different, right? Some clients want to market, want to brand in a certain way, and maybe it's not in alignment with my my view, right? Two different things, right? But I can totally coach them because at the end of the day, the common value is, right, they want to impact women, they want to support women through entrepreneurship. So I can't step in and tell them exactly how to do something or give them, a blueprint of what I do, because there's a lot of different things that we got to look at. So what I, you know, like to focus on when I work with clients is, okay, what are your desires, right? There's always the personal desires, and there's always this greater desire that you have, right? Of supporting, of teaching, of holding people and really creating a bigger impact. So, and then we can take both of those and see how we can make it work. So, as a CEO, when you sit into that driver's seat, is you have to make sure that you're always looking at the bigger picture to be able to drive that goal that you have forward. So, if you're planning, if you're thinking on a strategy, it's not about, can this give me a quick win? So many are thinking so short term instead of really looking big picture, like, okay, where are we going to go? Where do we need to be? Like, what are the milestones at 3 years, at 1 year? What's the milestone at 3 years, at 5 years, at 10 years, right? And how do we want this to roll out, right? So it doesn't make sense, right? If that's how you're supposed to be viewing business, you're shifting constantly, right? You're changing constantly. Oh, I don't like this. I got bored. Let me change it. Oh, I don't want this, right? Oh, I'm selling this today. I'm selling this tomorrow. You're not going to see Starbucks, right? Maybe just because I'm passionate about Starbucks, changing their stuff all of a sudden, right? If a drink hits, they're going to work on that and work it and work it and work it because people love it, right? So if you have a product or a service and people are loving it, people are coming to you, you're selling that thing over and over again, does not make any sense for you to say, I'm gonna switch that, right? Another example I can give for this is when it comes to the marketing efforts. All right, platforms change, they're gonna keep changing. Instagram and Facebook's whole point of view and whole thing is to make money, just like it should be for business owners, right? But their thing is to satisfy customers, right? Because if they can't attract people into their platforms, they're not making money. Same thing for us. If we are not attracting people to our business, we're not making money. It's just that simple, right? So it's about really thinking, okay, this is changing, this is adjusting. What do we need to do, right? That might mean that you need to consult with a expert, right? As to like, okay, what is the best social media strategy that we can do here? Taking into account A, B, and C, which is your mission, your goals, and who you are as a brand. But you need to be very, very clear on that. Like the expert can't come and give you clarity on that because you're the CEO. You have to give the vision for your everybody else in your team to know where they're moving forward, right? If I come in into my business and I tell them, well, I think I'm gonna try this course and we'll see if it works, right? Or, I'm feeling called to creating this course and we roll it out, we put all that effort, and then after we've launched it and all, great success, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm bored. Let's just do something different. Just because we want to have that creativity or we want that excitement. That's a really bad way of running your business, and you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna be sustainable because you're constantly starting all over again, over and over. Versus if you really take the time to see what your ideal client needs, what they want, right? Because it will change depending on how, and you're going to hear this again in my podcast, wherever if you work with me, you're going to hear me say this. Depending on what the thing is for your ideal client, you will have to adjust. It depends. It might not mean that you need to scrap the plan, but you might need to adjust it. It's not the end of the world. We just adjust. So that's what it is when you sit in a CEO seat. You're always looking forward and making sure that you are aligning where you want the company to go versus, with not versus, but with what your ideal client needs, right? If I'm helping entrepreneurship, right, entrepreneur women with online businesses grow online, then you best believe my offers and my services need to be able to help my ideal clients succeed in their business, right? I need to understand what's going on. And because we're almost in the same type of industry, you could say I'm going to be really good and really equipped at helping them at adjusting and really staying locked in as a CEO, right? Okay, does that next action, does that next strategy move your vision forward? And then if it does, great, we move forward. Um, I have another client come in. It's like, I don't want to be doing this type of service anymore. I want to close out my private coaching and just really move it into group coaching because I want to help more people. And at a one-on-one container, I'm capped. One, two, I am having, I'm changing. My life is changing right now. My kids need more of me. So when she looks at the fact that she can make a change, but that it's going to both benefit her lifestyle, but also the business and her clients at the same time, it's a win-win all across, all around. Or maybe it's like, okay, I'm at a capacity. Can you train, can you mentor other people to come and join your company so that they can help you make that reach, right? Some people are like, I'm fine, I'll be the only coach in the container. Other people like to have 3 to 7 different support coaches in the industry. I'm speaking into the programs, right? If you're a done for you service, maybe you like to have more people, more contractors doing the work. Whatever it is, all you're doing is getting more bodies to help you move along with your desired vision in mind. So it's really about taking a step back and thinking in that way. Now, from that place, again, like I mentioned, we make those decisions. But if you're constantly allowing your feelings to get involved. And like today, I don't feel like showing up. Great, go take a nap. Great, take the day off, right? If you're having, that's why we batch record. That's why you can repurpose your content. But don't let that drive your business, because if you do, you're going to be broke. And two, you're never going to hit the things, the goals, the income, the impact you want to make, because you're letting your emotions drive you. So really sitting, right, and really going, okay, the CEO needs to show up and make these three things today in the business. Patty needs to go after that. After those three things are done, maybe Patty needs to go take a nap, go for a walk with her dogs, or go watch Netflix for a couple of hours. Whatever's going to help me, right? I'm putting myself as an example. So it's just separating those two things. CEO needs to take a specific type of action. You as a person need to take a whole other set of actions and decisions, but you cannot allow to come in into that seat and really be like making decisions from that place. If you're feeling tired, that's fine. It's human. You're going to feel tired. Maybe schedule more time off, right? Maybe you need to log off. Maybe you need to delegate one of the activities that maybe is draining you, right? It's about looking at it and fine tuning different things. But whenever you come in, you're going to be sitting in the drive seat of a CEO. It's all right. All heads on deck, right? Hands on deck. And we're going to make a decision, right? For example, I can give you a good example. I was gonna roll out the CEO Diary newsletter, and that had been something I've been wanting to do forever, but it needed to make sense first, and I needed to see how that could fit into the bigger picture, right? Because it's not something you're gonna invest your time and then just let it go. So it took some time. Then you have to plan it, you have to structure it, and then you have to make sure that you're measuring, right? If it's even gonna work. And then if it's working, what people are liking. We know people want connection. We know that that's gonna do fantastic. Who doesn't want to learn, right? Lessons learned from a CEO. We know it. So we rolled that out. Now, it's going to take a minute for that to work, but I know with every fiber of my being that that's going to work. And because I'm so passionate about it, and because I'm pouring so much into it, and because people want connection, which is something I already know, is what's going to help me. Although I'm not huge on writing, because I'm not, but because I want to share my lessons learned and I'm so passionate about it, you best believe I'm committed to that. Like I have, like, at this point 10 newsletters already done and ready to go because of my lessons learned. But I'm passionate about it. I have taken something that Patty does not like to do, but as the CEO, that's going to move my vision. That's going to move my goals. That's going to move the company forward. Why? Because it aligns with my values. It aligns with my whole mission of empowering women through entrepreneurship so that they can develop and create freedom and profitable, lives and businesses. So everything checks. And although it's not something that, I might be like, oh, writing's not my thing, but because I'm passionate about it, it's not even a thing. So that's what I'm saying when I'm telling you, you need to shift from really seeing it from just you as the person to what the CEO needs to be thinking about, taking all of these other things in consideration, right? It's sticking to the things. Business is not a sprint. Business is a marathon. And for a marathon, you train, you're learning, you're running, you're enduring. It's the same thing in business. You're going, you're enduring, you're adjusting, you're using all the things that you have, all the resources at your availability so that you can make it to the finish line. Now, a marathon does have a finish line. Business, yes, right? Every year we go into it with specific goals and we go in it, we do the marathon, we adjust, we go, we complete it, we cross the line, and then we do it again, right? So it's a never ending thing. And if you're coming in thinking like, oh yeah, everything's going to be roses and rainbows and I'm never going to have to deal with, hard decisions. Yes, you are. You can hire support most definitely, but at the end of the day, the support's there to help you get clear, not to make decisions for you. It's to get clear on what it is that you want and help you move forward with your own goals and your own ideas, right? And just move forward. And wherever you might not have clarity, get some clarity there, right? Because depending who you're also hiring for expertise or knowledge, right? It just depends. So, but at the end of the day, it's what you want, and we're just here for me, right? As a coach, as a mentor, as someone that knows business, I'm just here to support you to get you where you want to go, right? And if you're not clear on that, then that's going to be kind of, for the most part, clients that I work with that are not very clear on what it is that they want, they spend at least the first 3 to 6 months trying to figure that out. So take the time, right? If you're just starting, or maybe you're already in the business and maybe you've succeeded very well with one product, what's the next thing you want to do? How are we going to scale, right? What's the next step in your client journey to get there, right? And that's part of just being a CEO. Okay, we're here. Our client evolves, grows, changes with time, and so the business will as well. The offerings would change as well, right? Client number 5 is going to be very different than client number 1, and they're going to be in a totally different journey, but it really doesn't change much in the sense as to the things that they go through, but depending on where they're at, right? Maybe year 1, they're having a lot of mindset blocks. Maybe client 5, further along in business, has clients, it's mindset block, but already knows kind of what's going on, knows how to work with their mindset, but they're just needing to navigate and get clarity on the next growth, right? Or the growth or the maturity of the business and how they're going to navigate that. Or things with clients, things with teams. Life is happening and they just need help with navigating that and really helping them stay in their zone of genius and in their structuring their business in a way that feels good to them, and just coming back to the foundations, right? Very, very different things at every different stage. So that's what I want to say. So that's when you have to be adjusting differently because as a CEO, yeah, year 1, you're going to have trying to figure out, right, what's working, what's not working, where you're going to be promoting. Maybe now you are solid in maybe year 3, 4, or maybe you've had fast growth and you're like, yes, I am here. I have everything locked in, but now I want to grow. I just don't know what the next step is, right? I know that what I want is to keep growing my vision. What I want is to create more impact, but I'm not sure exactly how to go about that. And maybe you're clear on your values, maybe you're clear on your bigger picture. So then with working with a mentor and a coach is going to help you to get more clarity on that and be able to not be throwing punches in the air, but really being strategic and really creating processes and taking steps that are going to be profitable for you and for your business. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of when you step into your CEO seat and start thinking long term, not short sighted, but really long term, and seeing, okay, is this going to get me to where I want to be in the business? I'm talking about the business, right? Is this really going to move me forward? Is this connection here? Is this interview here going to move me forward? It's not about if it's pink, if it's red, if it's the right font. Those that you leave that to graphic design, you leave that to your team members. Team members need to know, right? Um, what are we doing next year, right? But if you don't know what you want the business to be doing next year, your team can't do much and you're just paying them and wasting money basically because you're not clear on what it is you want to do. So it's about really taking a step back and really getting very clear, knowing, right now, one of the things I'm constantly pushing is, okay, 2023, what are we looking at? What's going on in 2023? I personally, it's already mapped out what's happening in 2023. I'm working with some clients as well that have already mapped out what they're doing for 2023. Team members will be notified shortly as to what they can expect for 2023 because the things that are happening in Q4 were spoken about last year. So all we're doing now is making sure that team's keeping up, that everybody's keeping with the dates, and that we are moving forward. And if not, what can we do to support? That's it. And then I get to focus, the CEOs I work with get to focus, right, on 2023 and what's going to be the thing. And then once, you know, 2023 comes in, just start taking action, right? Or even before, because obviously, if we're selling in January, right, you have to take action before. But that's pretty much what I'm saying. And that just relieves so much stress and so much heaviness that comes from running a business. Now, it's not hard. It's just the mindset shifts that need to take place and the habits that you need to create in order to be able to get that long-term view dialed down. And that's what we work with my clients, really getting that CEO mindset dialed down, where we're not working month by month thinking what we're selling next. It's like, okay, it's done. Team has 3 months in advance to know what they're working on, so that they can work on whatever it is, right? Graphics, podcasts, email sequences, design, whatever. And it gives team and myself enough time to be able to have those back and forth conversations and those reviews without really putting any pressure on the team, on myself, the business, right, in general. So same thing with this, right? If you're in your early or early times of your journey, start creating the structures in your business so that you don't have that, right? If you are posting content consistently, okay, give that a process. If you are doing free trainings, give that a process. If you are doing a podcast, give that a process, because then it'll just make your your job a lot easier. And then something else I want to add before I forget here is tracking and measuring. So important. People are like, no, I just go with the flow. And you know what? If that's your vibe, great. But we're running a business at the end of the day. So you have to track. You have to track. You have to be looking at your reports. Numbers don't lie, right? It will make no sense at all for you to continue on an activity that has shown out, right, for 3 consecutive months that is not working. But you won't know this if you're not pulling reports, if you're not collecting data. You don't want to pull the data? Get someone that does that for you, emails it to you, puts it on a Airtable or something, where you know that you're gonna come in each Friday, right? You can go as deep as, you don't want to look at the report, because I know sometimes it's just like a habit, right? That has to be worked. Then just send the numbers, right? I love looking at reports all day, every day. It's in my DNA, I guess, because of my accounting and taxation backgrounds. So I love it, right? I want to see the graphics. I want to see my efforts, right? What's working, what's not working, where can I adjust? So I'm looking at that constantly, and I know very well what's going to be working and not, and we're going to double down on that more. That's what it is being a CEO. That's what's going to move forward. That's what's going to move the vision, and that's what's going to make you enjoy what you're doing. Because if you are spending 3 hours of your day, let's say, creating a reel, creating content, a freebie, whatever, a podcast, a video, and you're able to see that out of those efforts, you were able to get 30 new people into your, let's say 30 new people into your audience. You interacted with them, and out of those 30 people, you got two, three people, 2 to 3 people, let's say, that convert down the line on a 20, $30,000 program. That's $90,000 worth of those 3 hours that you invested. If you're paying attention to your numbers, if you're paying it, that's what I want you to understand out of this. This is what I work so hard with my clients to understand. It is like a numbers game, and it is a strategy, and it is, but it all starts from, we have no strategy, we have no numbers, we have no data if you're not sitting in the CEO seat and really, thinking through and really making decisions, long-term view, and then measuring it against the data in the numbers. So that's the business training for you guys today. I hope you can take some nuggets out of this and be able to go and apply it and adjust as needed. And if you have any questions, as always, feel free to drop them in the comment box below, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions and help you as to the best of my ability in this container. So I look forward to seeing you again next week for another business training. Take care. Have a great rest of your week.